everybody? Welcome back. At the buzzer, it's finally here. It's finally here, y'all. I couldn't wait. Man, I'm so glad the NFL season is kicked back off. Today, we're going to break down these week one matchups. Let's get it. So, we kick off our season opener with the reigning Super Bowl champion, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, versus this year's featured Hard Knocks team in the Dallas Cowboys. Everybody hyping up the Cowboys as a potential threat to the Bucs this year in the AFC. But I think people have been just really entertained by the show this year. It's been pretty good. And as if we paid attention to previous teams on Hard Knocks, usually all their hoopla and everything, it ends in the preseason. They end up not being very good teams. Like I said, it was a really entertaining season this year, but I just don't see the Cowboys going nowhere. So I see Brady and the gang having a good showing on both sides of the ball, dominant performances. Then we got Seattle. They're going into the Colts Stadium as a 2.5 point favorite. Man, that's not good when you open up as an underdog at home in week one. You know, that's just shows me these teams trending in opposite directions. It would have been more, I think, but it's just they're just giving them some respect, I guess, because they're at home. But I see the Seahawks coming in dominating Indianapolis. And there's Jaguars versus Texans. Trevor Lawrence is going to begin his NFL career against the Texans, who will be starting Tyrod Taylor at QB. You know, Deshaun Watson, he was still going to be with the team, but he's not going to be playing. The Texans, they struggled mightily on defense last year, so I think this is a good way for Lawrence and that young Jaguars offense to ease into the game. Then we have the Eagles versus the Falcons. You know, Jalen Hurts, he started out this season the starter for the Eagles, but I don't think they did a good enough job placing talent around Hurts, and for that reason, I see them having struggles this season. You know, they have the Falcons as a 3.5 point favorite in this, and I think the veteran Matt Ryan will be able to hold down the depleted Eagles. And there's Washington football team. Really like that name. It's really catchy. I like that. Washington football team versus the Chargers. This is a matchup with two of the NFL future stars on both sides of the ball. And Justin Herbert for the QB for the Chargers and Chase Young, defensive end for the Washington football team. Now, with that being said, these are two very young teams as well, so they're not very good. But this game is basically a toss-up. You know, they have the Chargers as a 1.5 point favorite going into Washington. It's basically a toss-up. You know, I see the Chargers pulling away. Then we have Josh Allen and the Bills taking on Big Ben and the Steelers. The Bills are a 6.5 point favorite. You know, that's basically a touchdown. You know, Steelers are Asian. Ben Roethlisberger, they got Joe Hayden. They didn't re-sign him. He's just gonna play out his season and then test free agency. I just really don't know what direction the Steelers are trying to go in, what they want to do. But I do see the Bills coming in and dominating on offense and defense. They're a really well-balanced team. Like I said in one of my previous videos, I see them as a playoff contender for years to come if they can continue to build around the QB and that defense. Then we have the 49ers coming in as huge 7.5 point favorites against the Detroit Lions. You know, the 49ers, they retooled for, you know, having another Super Bowl run. You know, they were decimated by injuries last season. People don't even really realize that. They think they just had an off year. No, that team was down. I mean, everybody was hurt. From the starting QB, offensive line, starting running backs, wide receivers, you name it. They was hurt. So I see them making another run for the Super Bowl as well. And then, like I said, the Detroit Lions, they're in straight rebuild mode. You know that when they let go of Matt Stafford and downgraded to Jared Goff. But we'll see. Then we have the Vikings going into Cincinnati as 3.5 point favorites. Joe Burrow and the Bengals. They didn't do anything to make the team better around this talent. I don't understand these teams. They get these good QBs, then they do absolutely nothing to make them flourish. And then they wonder why they're 2-14, 1-15. I just don't get it. I just really don't. Hopefully Joe Burrow they get you some help. If not, get on out of there, man, because you're too good of a QB to just be wasted like that in Cincinnati. Like I said, unfortunately, I see them struggling again this year, so it's going to be another abuse for Burrow with that struggling offensive line. Pretty much struggling everything over there in Cincinnati. Then we have the Jets going in as 4.5-point underdogs to Sam Darnold and the Panthers. Sam Darnold facing his former team. Both these teams came off some bad seasons. The Jets were 2-14 and the Panthers were 5-11. But there is a difference between those two losses. The Panthers, they lost 8 games by 1 possession last year, so that's different. Jets, that's just a horrible offense, one of the worst offenses I've seen in a long time. I just don't know. They get out there and it just seems like, it's just a debacle every time they step out there on the field. I see McCaffrey just running all over the place, catching and passing. I see him going for about 150, maybe totally game 1. I know he's eager to get back out there. He missed 13 games last year. So we'll see. Like I said, these two, they're still not, these teams are not really good either. Then we got Kyler Murray and the Cardinals coming in at a 3.5-point underdog, playing against King Henry and the Tennessee Titans. And with them adding Julio Jones to the mix, I see them as another big playoff contender as well. That really made them a really balanced team. I think I don't see them having a problem with the Cardinals. They're struggling. D Hopkins, Kyler Murray, they awesome, but they just don't got enough teams to go against the Titans. Then coming up next, this is the game that I wanted to see in Week 1. I think this is gonna be the most exciting matchup, and that's the Chiefs versus the Browns. Chiefs coming in as 6-point favorites in this one. Kansas City reigning the AFC champion since last year, just coming up short against the Patriots. Like I said, I think this is going to be one of the best games. I see it as being like a shootout in the beginning, and then the Chiefs pulling away later in the game. But I do see this as an exciting one, possible playoff preview here. In the next game, we got Matt Jones making his playoff debut against the Dolphins. We all know what happened last week. He won the job over Cam Newton, resulting in Newton being released. As the shock to everybody in the NFL, but it is what it is. I guess he won. They said the best man for the job, they felt, and then I don't think they had him seeing Cam as a backup, so they had to let him go. But without that being said, I see them. They have the Patriots as a 3-point favorite. I just think they got them as a favorite because the Dolphins just not that bad. They're not really sold on Tua, whether or not they're gonna go forward with him as being the franchise quarterback or not. But I do see the Patriots coming away with the victory. Then we got next game is the Giants are a 2.5-point favorite against the Broncos. Saquon Barkley making his return. Whether or not he's gonna be as effective as he was before he was hurt. Then we got Teddy Bridgewater making his debut with the Broncos. He was a starting quarterback for the Panthers last year. I see this two struggling teams also. See a low-scoring game. Well, I actually see the Giants winning this one, though. Then we got the Packers taking on the Saints. Aaron Rodgers. They come in as 3-point favorites. I think it would be more on this one. I think they're just giving the Saints a little bit of respect because they're at home. They got Jameis Winston as their starting quarterback now. A downgrade from Drew Brees, but he's still a pretty good quarterback as well. Just if he could, he don't have a problem throwing the ball at all. That's not an issue. It's just the turnovers, I think. If he can get that down, they might be pretty good this year. But I do see Aaron Rodgers showing out on his opener and then pulling away, having a big game. And then next we got the Bears coming in facing the Rams at 7.5-point underdog. This is another touchdown favorite right here. I think the Rams really hit the jackpot. They got Matt Stafford. That's making them a stout team. That was their problem. Jared Goff, he's not that guy. I'm sorry, no hate on him, but he's just not the quarterback that Matt Stafford is. And Matt Stafford, I always wanted him to have a defense in Detroit. Now that he got one, now I'm gonna really see what he can do out there. But I see them having a big game against Andy Dalton and the Bears because they not playing Justin Fields, so I see that being a big performance coming in by the Rams. And then on our Monday night game, we got the Baltimore Ravens, 4.5-point favorite, against the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders GM recently came out and said, Vegas needs to be a playoff team. And when the owner starts making comments like that in the press, the coach is on the hot seat. I think they realize they overpaid for John Gruden. Because let's just be honest, he's not doing what he was supposed to be doing. I don't see where the big turnaround came in. Oh, we got Chucky back. Chucky ain't went to no playoffs, no winning seasons, nothing like that. But like I said, I see when the Golden Knights came to Vegas, the owner made sure they couldn't start out on no losing tip. Vegas, you come in losing, you ain't gonna get no support. So they made sure they made it happen on that. But hopefully they can turn it around too, because that's a young team also. But that's it for this video, my week 1 breakdown. If you like that, make sure you hit that like, subscribe down below. Until next time, toot to the brim, I'll holler.